For over 150 years, men have bruised and battled on fields like this, fighting for inches, foot by foot, yard after yard, they go to war. All for the glory of the game. Funny thing about glory, though, doesn't last too long down here, does it? This life is barely a second in the scope of eternity. And eternity, well, that's an overtime game that's much harder to comprehend. But what if we thought of it this way? What if we measured time by the length of this football field? The Bible tells us that to God, one day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is like one day. Look, I don't have a math mind, but I do know football. So if we were to measure time by the length of this field, then this 100 yards, that would be 1,000 years. The 50-yard line, that's 500 years. And right here, this is where we live our lives. 1st and 10, plus or minus a decade, day after day, living in the red zone. But in this 8, 9, 10 yards that we fought over every inch for, how do we know whether we're winning or we're losing? Well, thing is, God has quite a different way of measuring a yard, or a year, or even 1,000 years. Because let's face it, what's it to him? God's 1,000 years, they're long-suffering. His new day, it's full of new mercy. That midnight hour is there for a second chance. You see, time never holds him back or forces him forward. The moments of someone's life stolen away too early by death and multiplied without end on the banquet table of eternity. Yes, our agonizing wait is but a drop in the bucket of his goodness and grace. All those seconds that go by, those inches played out on the giant field of eternity, is God's perfect plan, carried out in a precision that we can't even fathom. Thankfully, we don't have to understand it. All we have to do is trust him. So, how will your years, your season in this world, be measured? Yards fought and won? Or by trusting in the one who can get you down the field of eternity? And he doesn't even break a sweat.